But now talking about self-defense.
Oh, you can't listen. People talk about in school reading and writing, arithmetic. I understand that's important, but I never understood why they don't teach kids how to defend themselves. And especially we talk about it, it seems, on a daily basis about bullying. And what learning self-defense, keep people from, you'll have that confidence. And bullies have a sense of picking on someone that they know they can take advantage of. And
Sure.
just self-defense is so important. People, get your kid into whatever it might be. If it's wrestling or judo or jiu-jitsu, something so your kid can defend themselves. And Ed, you did that with your two boys.
Yeah, and they started it out. I mean, it's their idea. I didn't get them into it for that very reason. But you know what? I thought, right, they're showing an interest in it. You know what? Take care of both sides of that coin right there. They can take care of themselves, and it's something they wanted to do. It's great physically, obviously, mentally, and the disciplinary. Disciplinary is not like they're being punished, but the discipline that's instilled in them and the respect, I found very refreshing and very cool.
And let me say something else. Just not for kids, it's for adults. I mean, if it can save your life. I mean, I trained in martial arts self-defense. I mean, no one's ever heard of the guy. Of course, I did it for 4 years. A guy by the name of Hoist Gracie out of the garage in Torrance, California. No one's heard of the Gracie family, but did that for 4 years because I always feared someone coming up to me, and this did happen a couple times, taking me out and maybe hurting me and injuring myself, and then my career would be over. And I was worried about that. I wanted to defend myself, so started the martial arts. Everyone should know a little something to protect yourself.
And that's the reason we're going to be talking to these fellas here in just a second. But right now we got traffic and weather together. Chuck, what's up? Thank you, Crumley. Talking about karate. Our friend Karim, welcome to the program, Karim.
Thank you so much for having me on.
And you work for Cincinnati Karate. There were 2 locations, correct?
Yes, there's one in Blue Ash, and we have a second one in Anderson, which will be opening up soon. But the main one right now we have is in Blue Ash.
Now, explain the special. Is it technique, form? What do you? I don't know the proper term.
Well, the system is called Krav Maga Maleh, and it's interesting because when we say the word karate, I think the perception tends to be, what you've seen in the Karate Kid. It's for little kids.
Breaking stuff, breaking boards.
Exactly. So it's almost a misnomer to call it a karate. It's more of a self-defense system. It's actually specifically designed for teens and adults. It's a system that's used by Israeli military. It's used by the Israeli military for combat. And what has happened is it's slowly been modified for civilian use as well. Well, the military needs to use a little bit more offensive. For civilians, it's much more defensive. So the way the system is designed is that it provides you a way to defend yourself if someone out on the street were to try and attack you for any reason, by punch, stick, knife, things along these lines.
And this is a very popular form of self-defense. I don't know if you know this, but they're actually teaching this, LAPD is teaching this as a form of self-defense. So it's
is that right?
Yeah, it's a big deal. But exactly what does it focus in on? Is it ground technique? Is it punching, or just trying to avoid being knocked out?
For people who might be familiar with a karate or a taekwondo or something, how would it differ from that?
Right. So great. So the best way the way I've come to understand it is that other arts like karate and taekwondo, those are definitely will provide you some self-defense, but the structure of it lends itself the ability to be more competitive, more of a sport kind of aspect. Krav Maga, you can't go to competitions with. You can't, because everything that you learn in it is to break rules. I remember listening to the show earlier. I think, Tracy, you mentioned, what if there was a wrestler who takes you down? Yeah. I think Eddie responded, well, I'll go for the eyes. That's Krav Maga right there, Eddie. Because because the idea is you have to do what you need to do.
We used to call that bar fighting where I come from.
But ironically enough, but that's what it is. Because you know what, we call it cheap shots. But then again, if someone's trying to hurt you, I'm sorry, it's on. You're fair game.
And here's the deal. I mean, there's no weight classes on the street, and when you fight, there's no rules. And
exactly.
People need to understand
there's no rules. It's very important to understand. Your goal is to walk away in one piece. If someone has made the decision that they're going to harm you, either your body or your life, I'm sorry, you have every right to do whatever you need to do to get out of there alive. Now, the majority of there is some groundwork, a little bit of groundwork, Tracy, but the majority of it is actually more stand-up. And the reason being is because you actually never want to be on the ground to begin with. The ground's a bad place to be, right? You don't have as much leverage. You can't do you don't have as many options. So you would prefer to be able to put them on the floor And as soon as they're incapacitated, you want to be able to get away. Because we don't want to stick around and try and fight this guy. We just want to put him out as fast as we can so we can get away, get help, get to a safe place.
Now, to learn this form of self-defense, how long does it take you to, is there a period of time, maybe 3 months, you say, you know what, you know how to protect yourself, you're good to go?
And that's interesting. What's great about Krav Maga is really after the first month, you've already picked up techniques that can help you in real time.
Really?
The more you practice, the better you'll get with it. But it's not the kind of art that, oh, I have to have done it for 4 years and now I can actually take care of myself. After the first 4 months, which is how long our orientation level is, even after that first 4 months, you will have at least a great solid base of techniques that can help you out on the street. And as you learn more and more, you realize that you can sort of make your own stuff that you need or you can use out in the street if you ever need to.
Good for women?
I would say so, very much so, yeah.
So you're putting on this seminar?
Yeah, exactly. So we have a seminar on Friday. Basically what's happening is we are trained by the Israelis. The school, the system, Krav Maga Maleh, is actually a system from Israel. And we are trained by the Israelis themselves, so it's 100% authentic. And what happens is we bring in the Israeli every year or so for a visit. And while he's here, we put on a seminar. And the Israeli coming in is Guy Dar, who's actually the chief instructor of our system. And so while he's here, we're putting on a public seminar on May 4th, which is Friday, from 6:15 to 8 o'clock. And this is open to anyone over the age of 12. And if you've ever been interested in Krav Maga, you've heard of it, but you never had a chance to try it, I can't think of a better time to give it a shot. I mean, you'd be learning from one of the masters himself.
So you really, when you talk about karate, you guys aren't dealing with karate, because I'm not a big, and Ed, I know your kids took karate, I'm not a big fan of karate because that breaking of boards really doesn't get you much in a fight. So really, it's not anything to do with karate.
It's not anything to do with that. And to be fair to these other arts, such as Taekwondo and Kung Fu and Karate, things like that, I will tell anyone who's a black belt in any system, you at least have a base of fundamentals that will help you and will give you an edge in any fight over someone who doesn't know.
I think it's more of a psychological
exactly
thing, because you've been in, you've been grappling or you've been fighting, you've been in that arena, whether it's with your instructor or someone else in competition, just gives you added confidence.
But it's a different, right? But it is a different mindset. But this system, Krav Maga Maleh, is a system that is specifically designed for this purpose. And it is that reason why we can't ever go to competitions. Because the design, the way the system is designed, is not set up to lend itself to that structure. It's meant to be, someone's trying to hurt you, someone's trying to do damage to you, so this is what you need to do to protect yourself.
Are you looking more at the eyes, the throat, the groin, where
anything you need? The groin is always a good shot to go for. I mean, it's sensitive. It doesn't matter how big you are. You take out the groin area, they are going down.
Guys, can I ask you to hold on for just a second? We're going to come back. We have a weather update. Thank you, Cromley. Back talking. We're talking about it's Cincinnati Karate, but it's not. But it's not karate. We're talking about it. It's Krav Maga Maleh.
Right, that is the system we teach. Cincinnati Karate is the name of the school. And for anyone who's interested, if you go to CincinnatiKarate.com, you'll be able to find information about our school and about the seminar coming up on May 4th. You can call or email us with any questions you have.
I was going to say, why don't you give that information here right now, and we'll get that out there so we don't miss it before you go. Go ahead.
Say it again?
Yeah, the website is what?
The website is CincinnatiKarate.com. Yeah. Right. Our phone number is 513-792-9610. You can find information about our seminar on our website, or you can call or email us with any questions you have.
How would a woman defend themselves? A man's coming at her. He's 6'3", 220 pounds. What do you do?
Well, it depends on the range. Let's assume for a second that he's out of range enough for her to use her legs. If he's coming at her, best option to do is do a kick to the groin. Nice swift kick to the groin will definitely put him down fast. If he's within that range, okay, now we have to think of different options, such as maybe putting an elbow to sensitive areas, such as the nose, or possibly putting a fist to the throat, putting another fist to the nose, maybe going directly for the eyes. There's lots of options we can have. It also depends on what specifically they're doing. We can make the assumption we have this big guy coming towards us, but what is he doing? Is he moving fast towards us? Is he moving slow? Does he have a weapon? Does he have a knife? There's a lot of variables that come into play, and depending on what the scenario is, will play out way differently what you need to do. One of the best options I've always liked, whenever anyone's coming at you, find the nearest object, wherever you are, throw it at him. If you have a cup of water or anything along a cup of coffee or anything along those lines, throw it in their face.
But see, that would work for me. I mean, I'm a Major League Baseball player. You know how you remember
Oh, geez.
watching me play.
So-
I mean, a woman really going to hurt some guy by throwing something?
Well, the idea is to distract them. Once you throw something in their face, they're now distracted. You don't finish there. See, we often, the one mistake we make in self-defense is we take a look at one technique. We take a look at how it works, and we think it stops there. It doesn't. Krav Maga Maleh will give you a recommendation as the best way to approach a scenario. But after that, we tell you, keep going. You have to keep going until they're down on the ground. So if you throw something in a guy's face, once they're distracted, you don't just stop there. Then you run up and start hitting them in the face. You start going for the eyes. Yeah. You knee to the groin. You keep going until you are satisfied that they're on the ground and they're not getting up. At that point, then you start moving out of there and get away.
Karim, we appreciate you coming in. The seminar, again, is this Friday night. It is at what time?
6:15 to 8 o'clock.
You want to know more? Go to CincinnatiKarate.com. We appreciate you coming in, my friend.
Thank you, sir.
We got traffic and weather together. Chuck, what is going on?